All right, welcome back to Scavenger Workshop. We are going to do a quick tutorial on how to assemble both the pocket and the side vents. First thing you're going to want to do before you do anything is on one side and one side only of all your top and your centerpieces, you want to sand them down with a 80 grit sandpaper. And the reason you want to do that is so that way when you use your adhesive, the glue has something, to really bite down on. If it's just smooth like this, it may peel up, right? I'm using E6000. You could probably get away with using some metal glue as well. The E6000 is freaking, after 72 hours, it is really solid. So let's move on to the next step once you've sanded this down. Okay, so here we have the pieces for the Scavenger side vent right here. You're going to do the same thing with the pocket vents as you do with this. What I've done is I have this tank here. It's got this natural curve to it. You can use a propane tank or anything that's solid that's round like this. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to set your piece on here, right? And then you're going to put your hands around it like this and then just squeeze it down like that, right? And that's going to give you the natural bend that you need to fit into the skins on the frame. You're going to do the same thing with the top layer and the middle layer, and then the back layer as well. Just kind of do it like this. What you'll notice is the thinner piece is not going to bend as sharply as the outer piece, which is fine because when we glue them together, we're going to use some C-clamps in there and allow the glue to set for 72 hours, and it'll be one solid piece once that's done. So as you can see here, it's already in the shape that we need it to be. If I were to put it up to the droid, you'll see it's perfectly curved for the same width of the droid, because naturally it's going to kind of bend back a little bit, so it's going to be about what you need for the droid. So we're going to go ahead and move over to the desk, and I'm going to show you how to assemble the arrest. Stop it. I just went ahead and showed you the video on how to bend your parts. So we had the parts right here that were bent to the proper specification. You want to test these up against your R2D tool. You'll notice that the top layer is not bent fully like the bottom layer. It's because of the thicker material. It holds the bend better. This acts more like a spring, but there's no issue with that, because once we clamp it down and put that glue on there and let it set for 72 hours, it's going to be solid and it's going to hold that curve. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, if you notice on your centerpiece on both pockets and the side vents, you're going to notice there's holes there. So what you're going to need to do with those holes, you're going to have to get yourself a bit like this. This is what's called a countersink bit, and you just want to spin it in there just a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of a countersink in each one of these holes. Because what we're going to do is we're going to use captive studs, and these captive studs, you want them to sit as flush as possible. So go ahead and run it on all four of them. Right? All four of them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the studs, we're going to put them in here, right? And we're going to put the nut on each one of these captive studs, like so. And then we're going to get our crescent wrench and we're going to cinch it down as tight as we can do it without it stripping out the nut itself. The reason we're doing this is we want this captive stud to be as flush as possible, and it's going to pull inward. And each one of these captive studs, they have teeth on the underside of it. So those teeth are gonna grab this metal and keep it from turning. So when we set the glue and all, and we unscrew these little nuts here, the screw's gonna remain in there and it's not gonna turn. So you wanna just tighten it down as much as you can. Just like this. Right, and you're gonna see it's gonna pull in a little bit. Now, it's okay if it's not completely flush. That's fine. The skin, you won't notice it too much because it's only in these 4 little corners. It's not like it's entirely around it. But the flusher it is, the better. Okay, and just turn it and tighten it down as much as you can. All right, just like that. And then the last one. Okay. Just get this screw on, this nut on here. This one might be stripped or something. Oh, there it is. I think I used these previously for the last one that I did. So they might have been worked over a little bit. All right, just tighten it up. All right, so now we have the 4 captive nuts on there. Now we need to glue this piece on here. Now, the important thing is, when you're gluing this, use a good amount of glue because it's going to start drying as soon as you apply it on there. And you want to cover every part of this piece. And then you want to also make sure that these ribs are flush on the inside, so that way you don't have no overlap, right? So you're going to adjust it flush. And as you're gluing it, we're gonna put some clamps on there. So let me go ahead and get the clamps, and we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so let's get some glue. And it might be a good practice to clean off your material if there's any fine dust in there from your sanding. It might cause problems with the adhesion. It hasn't. I haven't cleaned mine, but just in case, you might want to do that. Like I said, this is just a tutorial for you guys. So if I had to rebuild them for my droid, that's not a big problem. They're fairly cheap, you know, for this set. So just want to get it a lot of good coverage in there, right, on all ends. And it's okay if it squeezes out, because later on you can go with an X-Acto knife or a blade and get it out of the edges. That's what I did. So it's better to do a lot more than not enough. Get it all in there. Make sure you've got coverage on it, on all the ribs, all the inner ribs and whatnot. And then we'll start putting the top piece on. All right. So make sure your ribs line up. perfectly. And then what I like to do is I like to use these C-clamps on the edge, one edge here, just because these C-clamps won't move when you get it aligned the way you need to. A little bit messy. Okay. All right, let's just check to make sure it's all lined up perfectly. Feels good. And we'll tighten this down. Right. So we got that all lined up, and then we'll go ahead and put the clamps on all over it as much as possible. You want to have clamps on the center, like that, just holding every little piece of this thing, you know, together. Just like that. Seems like overkill, but you want adequate pressure on all the different things, so that way you get a good, you know, adhesion all over it. And then from this point, you're just gonna let it cure for 72 hours. And once it cures, then you can proceed to the next step. All right. The next step is just the assembly process of the piece. So this is what it looks like when it's cured. I went and scraped away some of the excess adhesive in between the little pieces right there. Looks really nice. On this side, you've got your bent backing piece, which the holes just drop through there like this. That's it right there. Then you can put your nuts on there, and it'll hold it all together, right, really nicely. And then you have your pocket right here, which just snaps into the back of this. You want to snap this in after you've screwed it on to your droid, the back of your droid, right? Because it's made for this to sandwich around your droid skin on the body. So this piece is sandwiched together. You screw it, it holds it in place. Then you pop this little pocket in there, and you're done. And it's the same process for the side vents as well. So let me show you how you assemble the actual pocket. So these are the pieces for your pocket, right? And they go together rather simply, right? All you have to do is literally, you just put this tab in here. You're gonna kind of bend it as you insert the other tabs. And that's it, that side's on, right? Then you're gonna put your little side pieces on, right? Drop this piece in first, this tab, right here, side tab, and then you're gonna kind of pull it back and drop that one in. Now your corner piece is on. You're gonna do the same thing for this piece. Drop it in the side first, line it up with the bottom, drop it in. That corner piece is on, right? And then finally, you're gonna put this piece in by sliding in one side first, right there, and then slide in the next side, and then kind of bend it and push. Now that all pieces on, what you're gonna wanna do is grab a pair of pliers like this, grab this tab at an angle, and then kind of squeeze and turn. Squeeze and turn, right here. And as you can see, the tab bends down rather nicely. You're just gonna do that for all the different tabs. Just kind of squeeze it and turn it. Squeeze it and turn it. Squeeze, turn. And this back piece right here. This one. And then these little ones on the corners here, which are once you've got all the tabs bent, this little pocket's solid. You know, it's not coming apart at all. So that pretty much concludes the video tutorial on how to assemble these pieces. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Shout out to Andrew. We make a good team working on this stuff. We have a couple of other people on our team that help out, like Ian. Ian is currently working on some shells and foot shells and stuff and other stuff for Scavenger. Hopefully we'll be coming out with some other stuff in the future. If you guys are enjoying what we do, you might want to take a moment and join our Facebook group. That way you can be aware of what's coming out in the future, and you can be a part of our team. So until next time, peace out.